Hey, so we got a disclaimer at the beginning of this video. In the tax world, laws change quickly, and we shot this video, and then sure enough, there were some changes. So on March 1st, 2024, an Alabama federal judge ruled that the Corporate Transparency Act was unconstitutional. So this decision came from a lawsuit filed by the National Small Business Association and was issued after our initial broadcast of this episode of the Real Estate Industry Update. We removed the video from public view as soon as we learned about it. While the Act requirements could be struck down for everyone in the near future, at this time, the case only applies to the plaintiff. So we've reposted this episode to give you the detail you need should the Corporate Transparency Act and its requirements remain. Please keep these developments in mind as you watch this video. James Moore is closely tracking this news as this lawsuit continues to play out in federal court and will keep you informed on any significant updates. Thank you. Welcome to another real estate industry update. I'm Daniel Roccanti here with Kyle Paxton. Today we're going to talk about the Corporate Transparency Act that requires a filing with FinCEN. FinCEN is the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, which is the division of the Department of Treasury. Okay, and this reporting is about certain corporations and LLCs that have to report to FinCEN. Okay. This information that is being reported to them will be available to basically government officials that can submit a request through the federal government. So this information will not be accessible to everyone, but it will be on a database the federal government has that certain people can be available for. This is mostly because it's being reported to the Financial Crimes Enforcement Act, is trying to cut down on money laundering and other financial crimes. What information, though, is needed for this? So if you are a reporting entity, and for this report, you're just going to have to do facts about your company. Pretty basic stuff like legal name, address, your taxpayer identification number, things like that. But the real big thing is you also have to provide information for what they call beneficial owners. Okay. Beneficial owners for this circumstance is basically anyone who owns control, has significant control of the company, or owns at least 25% of this reporting company. What would be like substantial control would be more like senior officers. So these are CEOs, CFOs, those kind of people, or just anyone that is able to make decisions. So important decision makings of the company. And of course, if you own at least 25% or more of the company, then you're a beneficial owner. So if you're a beneficial owner, what kind of information needs to be on this? It's unfortunately a lot of your private information. So it's your full legal name, it's your birthday, it's your home address, it's your social security numbers, it's going to be your driver's license and your passport information. So it's not the greatest information that people like to provide, but this is the information that they want to basically cut down on these financial crimes and know who really owns these businesses. Okay. The good news, though, is that there's exceptions. So, Kyle, what are exceptions for companies so you don't have to report this beneficial owner information report?
Sure. Yeah. So taking a step back and just kind of who needs to file this. We've been watching this here now for a couple of years. We've heard this is coming. I think it's kind of sneaking up on businesses, and it hasn't really made big news, and it's just kind of slipping through. So this filing, the BOI report, will need to be done by any corporation, and that's both S corporations and C corporations, or LLCs that have filed with the Secretary of State and created their company. So it's a wide net. Sole proprietors and general partnerships may need to file, depending on whether they have formation documents with the state agency or not. Like Daniel said, there are several exceptions to this. Generally, the exceptions fall into buckets of companies that are already reporting this information through other jurisdictions or for other reasons. So a big one is just a large operating company. So that's more than 20 full-time employees, more than $5 million of gross receipts, and an operating presence at a physical office in the U.S. Looking at this, who needs to file, and looking at it in conjunction with real estate, there aren't any specific exemptions that fall within the real estate umbrella. And you look at the large operating company here, 20 full-time employees, $5 million of gross receipts, and a physical presence. A lot of times with real estate LLCs, we don't see the 20 full-time employees piece, right? Because you're paying a third-party property manager or another entity of that sort. So it's those three criteria you have to hit to be exempt from this BOI report. Just to rattle off quickly the other exemptions that are specified here. This is from the FAQs on the FinCEN website, which is a really built out long list of, frankly, everything you need to know on this report, except at the time we're recording this, the report itself isn't available yet. Starting here in a couple weeks. Those other entities are publicly traded companies, financial institutions, insurance companies, public accounting firms. Whoop, whoop, that's us. We're out of here. Tax exempt organizations and regulated public public utilities. So again, those are entities that are often filing this report or a similar report further through other jurisdictions. So they're specifically exempt.
And I think it's important, Kyle, to just make sure that we go back and like, if you filed any kind of documents with states about opening up a separate legal business entity, so a corporation, LLC, and you do business in the United States, so this is even foreign corporations, then unless you meet one of these exemptions, you have to file this report.
And
Okay.
for our real estate folks, you may have 30 different LLCs, right, that are holding different properties or your different kind of streams of business. So each of these, unless you fall on those exempt buckets, this needs to be filed for every one of those entities. We see a lot in real estate single member LLCs or LLCs that are disregarded from tax purposes. This is a legal concept, and that disregarded piece isn't recognized through this. So each of those LLCs, when you're that have been formed with the state jurisdiction, need to be filed. So again, I feel like this is snuck up on a lot of people, and we're just trying to get ahead of it. So,
But
Dan,
when do we, yeah, Kyle, when
Yeah.
do we need to file this though? So now
All
we
right.
talked about who needs to file. When do we need to file?
So this starts January 1st, 2024. And this needs to be filed in the calendar year 2024. This needs to be filed within 90 days of organizing your business with a state agency. And then after January 1st, 2025, that actually shrinks back down to 30 days. And so that initial report, it's a one-time filing, barring no changes. That has to happen within 90 days of formation for calendar year 2024. And then moving forward, if I make any changes to those beneficial owners or any of the information on the report, I have to file that change report with FinCEN within 30 days. So it's a very tight turnaround, and definitely something that needs to be definitely on the radar as you're organizing businesses, making changes to your business.
Okay, but what if I have an existing business that was already in existence before January 1st, 2024? What do I do about this reporting?
You got to get this thing filed.
Now, so if you have an existing business before 2024, so a lot of us will have that, they give you the whole year. Okay, you don't have to follow the 90 days or the 30 days. You have the entire year of 2024. Okay.
I'm
And
saying file it quick so we don't forget about it. Get it done.
it's true. File it quick because you don't forget about it, but you have the whole year. But any new businesses, once 2024 starts, you have 90 days to file this. So just like from the date of formation. So when you file your articles of organization with the state, this just needs to be another thing you do when you create your entities. And so you get 90 days currently right now for anything in 2024. Once 2025, 30 days. And then, like Kyle was saying, if there's any changes, okay, this is like, did I change my address? So any of this information you have to report, did the beneficial owners change? Then I need to update this, okay? But where do you even file this, Kyle?
It's filed, submitted electronically through the FinCEN's website. And so a lot of people are familiar with this through the FBAR reporting. And so FinCEN kind of governs reporting of foreign financial accounts. And so you can file this. That's an annual report that you file through the FinCEN's website. And a lot of times kind of third-party softwares will allow you to populate that information and file it on your behalf. But we're going to see this populated through the FinCEN's website. And again, there's a well built out FAQ section, a lot of information on there on exactly how this form's executed and populated. Again, at the time of recording here, we're hoping to see the actual form soon.
Yeah.
And so one more thing I do want to emphasize on that change report, because it's any change, right? So if I have a change to my address, if I have any ownership changes to my business, it's a wide net of that information that's being reported. That change report is due within 30 days of filing. So again, like Daniel said, we need to be teed up of just, this is just part of your process of any changes to your business if you're required to file this report.
So you'll file this through the FinCEN's website. It's not available yet. It won't be available until January 1st, 2024. So even us, we haven't even seen the forms, know what it looks like. We just have given information on what needs to be reported, so no one actually knows exactly. So now the bad news, Kyle. What happens if you don't file? What's the penalties for this?
Penalties, they'll come and get you. Like I said, FinCEN governs this, and so the penalty structure is somewhat similar if you're familiar with the foreign reporting requirements around this. So there are both potentially civil and criminal penalties that are assessed on the failure to file this form. And so the FAQs outline that there's civil penalties of up to $500 for each day that the violation continues over that 90 or 30-day deadline. And then the criminal penalties are up to 2 years imprisonment and a fine of up to $10,000. So these get steep quick. So it just kind of goes back to the importance of making sure this is on your radar. And of course, they add language for willingly failure to file and what that looks like, falsifying information, and all that gets much more serious. But those are the kind of default outline of the FAQ penalties that will be assessed on this.
Because this is getting reported to FinCEN, this is financial crimes. They're taking this serious. Like, yes, the penalties are pretty big, but if you lie to them or, commit fraud, you could go to jail for it. So everyone needs to take this serious and realize that any new entity that you create, this needs to be filed and then needs to continuously be updated. Okay. Since this is a video about real estate, even though this is for any corporation, any LLC, but how does this relate to real estate really? Like, what if I'm an owner of real estate or an investor, how does this relate to me, Kyle?
Yeah, we touched on this a little bit and kind of talking through the who needs to file, right? But it's any real estate. Again, we see a lot of LLCs in real estate. Daniel and I are both located in Florida, so we see a lot of LLCs organized with the state of Florida. Any of these LLCs, and if you're moving property into LLCs, you're forming new entities for anything related to your streams of business within the real estate space. This needs to be on your radar. As I indicated, we're probably not reaching the large operating company for a lot of taxpayers, and then we're also not meeting. There's no real specific exemptions for the real estate industry. This is a wide net and a lot of impact in the real estate space. So I've already seen, kind of looking through some resources on how to organize LLCs for real estate and things like that. A lot of advisors are adding this as just another line item of the 5 things you need to consider when you start a business. So it's a big deal. One other thing I want to touch on that too is keep in mind, I touched on a little bit before, LLC. We can have a lot of different types of LLCs in the real estate space. And keep in mind your HOAs and condo associations and how those are organized in entities, to make sure that their reporting is up to date on those and you're capturing the changes as needed. Daniel, do you have any other comments for real estate to share?
I think for real estate investors specifically, you got to realize what is a reporting entity is not the same as what is a taxable entity. So disregarded entities. A lot of real estate people own real estate in a disregarded entity. All right, I own it. I'm a single member LLC. I own it 100%. It's reported on my 1040 Schedule E, something like that. Or if I have a big partnership with disregarded entities under it, basically a holding company. For that purposes, there's really you're not creating a taxable entity. Okay, it's a legal entity, but not a taxable entity. In this case, it follows the legal entity. Okay, so each of these disregarded entities has to file this report with FinCEN, okay, and provide all the beneficial ownership information. So when you're basically thinking, all right, where's my compliance here? All right, think of every corporation, LLC, that you're an owner in or have control of. Okay, so it could be like, oh, I only file 2 returns, but I have 10 LLCs. Okay, well, you have 10 reports you have to file. So I think that's a big one. The exemptions, probably when you're dealing with real estate, is not going to come into play for most people. You're talking about large companies with 20 employees, 5 million in revenue, and a physical presence here. Okay, you're going to be a pretty big real estate company if you have at least 20 employees. There's a lot of real estate with 0 employees. Okay, so it's got to be 20 employees and 5 million in revenue. So you got to have both. All right. So maybe some large syndications and things like that will be exempt from it. But most of the small to mid-tier investors are not going to be exempt from this. They definitely need to look over their situation and decide what needs to be filed. So let's say I'm a real estate investor. I finally was like, all right, I have a bunch of discarded LLCs. I need to file these. Like, so who actually is doing the filing? All right. What I'm telling everyone is, first of all, you need to take charge of your own situation. Okay. So if you are the beneficial owner of these companies, all right, you're the one that controls the companies. You need to take charge, and it's your duty to make sure these are filed. Okay. You can do it yourself, the same as creating a legal entity with the state, like creating an LLC. You can do it. Okay. You go to FinCEN when it's available and file the report. Okay, so what happens now if I need help? Okay, you don't feel comfortable doing it yourself, or you just need some consulting. All right, there's a lot of people that can help you there, but I think what needs to be said is this is basically a legal document. Okay, so just like creating an LLC is a legal entity, so it's basically done by attorneys. CPAs have helped, can help, but it's really attorneys. If you need consulting, you need help, if you want someone else to file this for you, you should be going to an attorney first, okay? Whoever your attorney is, or, find an attorney. If you're going to your CPA, they might file this for you. It's not like they can't file it for you, but this is really not a tax compliance. So there's going to be a lot of CPAs out there that are not going to file this for you. It's not their job to remind you, to tell you about this. Obviously, we are trying to tell all our clients, because we don't want our clients getting penalized and going to jail. But like even our firm, we've decided that we're not filing this for you. We'll still talk to you about it, and then we will recommend an attorney to you to talk to. So basically what I'm trying to say is realize that your CPA might not file this for you. It's not part of the normal repertoire going forward to file for you. You need to take charge. And then I would highly recommend, if you want to talk to anyone about it, to talk to an attorney, because this is more of a legal action, a legal report, than a tax one.
Fun stuff. Another thing to worry about.
I know.
Back to my file it ASAP, so we don't have to worry about it. January 1st, 2024, pop open the website, get it done.
So this is big news right now, but do know you have the whole year to file it, but do not wait. Try to do this beginning of 2024. Get this out of the way. At least look at the documents or the information you need. And if you have any questions, please reach out to an attorney. You can also talk to your CPA, you're probably within limitations, and then they can always refer you a great attorney to help you on this one. Thanks for watching, and make sure you stay tuned for our next video.
To learn more about James Moore & Company's real estate accounting and business solutions, go to jmco.com. And don't forget to subscribe to our Real Estate Industry Update series to receive updates when new videos are released. If you'd like to be a guest, or if there's a topic you'd like to see covered on a future episode, contact us through our website or email us at info@jmco.com. You can also follow us on social media for more news as the landscape of real estate continues to rapidly evolve.